Hey guys, I'm back. It's been a month or so since I've uploaded any kind of video. Just due to the holidays and weather, I didn't really want to rush through and just put a bunch of junk out there without being able to take my time and explain things and really give it the attention it deserves. So we're back. Should be on a regular schedule now. Look for something every week, every couple times a week, something like that. I've got a lot of gear to cover. Got some more stuff in from Grim Survival. They did the Kickstarter with the zipper pull tools, the micro tools, so we've got a bunch of those to cover. Be on the lookout for some giveaways coming up from some different companies. Start sharing these videos around, because you're going to be able to win some stuff. Maybe you don't want to win it, but your buddies do, something like that. But just stay tuned for some more information on some giveaways and what's going to be available. Today I want to talk to you about some products from Wazoo Survival Gear. They're a company out of Texas. They make survival and outdoor products. All their stuff is made in the USA. It's good quality stuff, good quality items. Gear you can actually get out here and use and depend on, learn how to use properly. It's not cheap junk. They've got very reasonable prices. Here's the box my stuff came in, and I know I don't normally sit here and go over the boxes. Hold on, my notes just blew away. But anyway, no, I don't sit here and rave about boxes, but you got to check this out. I've already emptied the things out of it. Their boxes have some information about their company, links to information about their YouTube channel, where you can go and look at some instructions on how to use some of their items, some of their, I guess, philosophies and things like that as a company. A really cool trade-in program that they've got going on. Let me know if you want me to cover that, or just go check them out. That's something nobody does. But anyway, if you'll notice, there's a lot of pictures and some fun things going on. They send you crayons, so if you're bored out here in the field, or the kids want to play, you've got got some activities to keep busy with. So that's pretty neat. But this was kind of a small order. Got a few items to talk about. The first one is going to be their Viking Whetstone Pendant version 2. Comes in this little burlap sack, or not burlap, muslin sack. I'm actually wearing it right now. We'll take it off and get a better look at it. Also got a Ranger bead kit that they offer, and let's see, mini ceramic folding knife, and fire steel. But I'll orient the camera so you can see what's going on a little bit better, so you don't have to sit here and look at me. I'll kind of go over some of these things and give you an overview of them. So I'll be right back. Alright, so this is what the Viking Whetstone looks like. And again, well, I forgot to show you, also in the box was a Wazoo survival sticker, so I'm definitely going to put that on something. This is the Viking Whetstone. It comes as a necklace, comes in this muslin bag. Some care instructions for it, how to use it, how to treat the leather. What kind of a little background on it. But it's basically a whetstone, like any of the other ones you're going to buy that used to sharpen your knives and tools with it. These are normally what I carry, and they're handy to have, especially for just touch-ups in the field. But I've been looking for something that is a little easier to carry. I mean, of course, these are lightweight and small, but trying to pack them or put them in something to where they don't get broken or lost is kind of an aggravation. So that led me to this. you can see you can wear it as a necklace, you can put it in a pouch and tie it off, put it in a bag. I do like wearing it as a necklace. I've done that for about 2 weeks now. It is very comfortable, non-obtrusive. You know, the way it's shaped, it's not gonna dig into you or cause any discomfort. I've slept in this thing. I've worn it, you know, pretty much 24/7 for a few weeks now. You know, I take it off when I take a shower just so I don't get the leather wet and have that, you know, going on, you know, getting my clothes wet and things like that. But anyway, very comfortable. You're not going to notice it's there. Plus, it looks really neat. And they've got this Napoleon claw knot. That's just a beautiful knot. Before we get into the stone, let's go over the necklace real quick. This is leather. It's a nice color leather and a quality leather, and it's on these little sliding knots, so you can adjust it, you know, loosen it up to put it on and take it off, but then you can tighten it down to wherever you want it to sit. Being leather, you're going to want to keep it preserved or you know, treat it every now and then, you know, some oil or something like that. You know, what I use, I haven't done it yet just because it's new. It doesn't need it very often, but with a lot of leather products I use this Obenauf's, so that's something you can keep on it, keep it preserved, plus it smells good. Alright, getting to the stone. You know, the word Viking gets thrown out a lot now on everything. I mean, all these companies and all these products, you know, it's Viking this, Viking that. You know, it's kind of a marketing gimmick almost now. But you know, with this, there's actually some history to this. You know, and going back to the term Viking, again, it's thrown around a lot, and there's a lot of stuff that, you know, it's called Viking when it isn't, and you know, we can get into the semantics of it. You know, Viking's more of an occupation than it was a people, but we'll save that for another time. I won't bore you with it. But anyway, these kind of stones, you know, probably not this kind of quality and shape and all that, but anyway, Viking whetstones were a thing. They have found them in Viking burial sites and things like that, to where they would have had whetstones on their person or sharpening stones on them, like many other people from history. But you know, it's proven that they carried them in some fashion. They may not have worn them as a necklace, I don't know. Some of them do not have a hole in them, some of them do, so you can imagine they were tied off or worn in some fashion. So this is kind of, you know, true to form or true to history in an extent. But with like a lot of the other Wazoo products, they take an idea and they make it better, and they make it, you know, they update it. This is actually Arkansas Novaculite, which I know I'm rambling, but a little bit of a history behind that. Novaculite is a chert or a flint that has you know, been mined and been used since prehistoric times as a sharpening stone, and as arrows and spearheads. You know, the Native Americans would have used something like this, or this type of material anyway. It's found in Arkansas. Some of it's found in Oklahoma, Texas. But it's a really good stone for sharpening. This particular stone is going to be somewhere probably between 600 and 800 grit, I would imagine. So what it's going to be used for, you know, you're probably not going to use it to sharpen you know, a completely dull knife up to razor sharp, but keeping your knives and your tools sharp in the field in between uses is what this is perfect for. You can see it's got a few different sides. I think they had a previous version of this stone that was a little more, you know, squared off, something similar to this. So these are handy, don't get me wrong, but I love that this has multiple faces and multiple functions on it. You can see that it's got a fish hook groove to sharpen your fishing hooks. It's got a tapered side, a flat side, you know, a couple of flat areas, and then it's got a rounded side as well. And you know what this is going to be good for, I've been playing around with a little bit. You know, any of the flat sides are going to be great for, you know, your regular non-serrated blades that you're going to carry around, whether you're in the woods, you're bushcrafting, you're, you know, on the job, whatever. Your flat sides are going to work great for that. Again, your groove is going to be for fish hooks. Your tapers and your rounded sides, I have found, are going to work great for serrated blades. You know, sometimes it's kind of hard to sharpen a serrated blade, and depending on the size and depth of the serrations, you got a couple of options there, which I'll show you in a minute. Being a whetstone, it's W-H-E-T, not W-E-T, but you do use some form of lubricant with it. The most common thing is water. You know, you've seen some of these people, they'll spit on it and sharpen the knife with it. You can use oil. Just remember that with any whetstone, if you put oil on it, you cannot go back to using just water. That the oil is going to, you know, permeate it and always be there. If you're wearing it as a necklace, I don't know if I would use oil or not. I haven't yet, just because I would hate to get the oil stained up in my shirts or whatever. So I'm going to stick with water. But basically, just, you know, water's water. Pour it on there, and you've got it ready. But you know, as far as who's going to use this, you know, somebody like myself who's out in the woods or sitting around the camp, keeping your knives sharp. Get a few examples out here, and I'll be right back. All right, again, you know, general purpose camp knives, pocket knives, you know, recreational type things that you're going to be using. You know, that's going to work great. Something like this. This is a Pathfinder knife shop Scorpion HD. You know, of course, that's going to work great for something like that. Where this is longer, you're going to have to kind of go from one side to the next. You know, just gotta, depending on the size of the knife, is going to determine how you're going to use it. You know, even something like this little carving knife, you know, that's definitely something you can use with it. Pretty much, I mean, any knife. Again, just putting a quick edge on it, keeping it sharp in between uses. These little open nails work great for something like that. I mentioned the serrated blade, or serrated options here. That's filthy, I need to clean that. But anyway, you can take whatever size works best. Like that little thin side would work on these small ones, and then that bigger rounded side would definitely work on these bigger serrations. But you know, that's going to do the trick there. You know, so definitely outdoor recreational camp type uses. Even professional people, you know, if you're using, say you're on a construction job or something like that, you know, always keeping your tools sharp and maintained. They're going to serve you better. You're going to be able to work more safely, you know, more quickly, more efficient. Something like this linoleum knife, even, you know, I'm a cheapo, so even my utility knife blades, I'm going to take those out and sharpen them. You know, sometimes I even strop these things just to keep an edge on them, but you know, that way you're working sharp, and you know, you're spending less money on tools. I got freaking glue and beeswax on every knife I own. I've got to sit down one day and clean everything. You know, even scissors. A lot of people don't realize, you know, you can sharpen scissors, and just like any other tool, they're going to work better and more safely when they're sharp. A sharper knife is a safe knife. You know, you let it get dull, it's going to get dangerous, or any other tool for that matter. But with any knife or any blade, figure out your angle, hold your stone accordingly, and give them a little bit of an edge there. You know, I've carried around the sharpening pucks and things like that. You've seen them from Lansky and other brands, you know, for your axes and your camp hatchets and things like that. You know, that's what you're going to use your heavy duty sharpening for. But your quick touch-ups in the field, this is absolutely perfect for that. And again, it looks freaking cool, so why not get something like this just to keep it on you and have it handy. It's a no-brainer. You know, kind of like we were talking about in one of the other videos, the level 0.5 gear. You know, something you've always got on you that's not obtrusive and nothing that you're gonna you know, walk off from the house without, or walk off from your desk because you're, you know, like me, absent-minded or in a hurry. So this is just something, a piece of gear you can always keep on you, and it's a quality piece of gear that's going to last and last and last. I mean, you know, you're not going to wear this thing out. But again, just nice quality piece of gear. It's cool looking. These do come in different colors. You're not able to pick your color, but I think naturally this stone is more of a light gray or a white color. On the website it says you are going to see some color variations from time to time. You know, that's kind of just luck of the draw. You know, you're going to get it or you're not. But I like this color. This is going to be about $30, I think, on their website last time I checked. So if it's something you can use and put on you and carry every day, $30 ain't bad. You know, especially given some of the cheap alternatives out there that are nowhere near as neat. Alright, sorry if the lighting has changed. I got to run in my mouth as usual and lost track of the time. Almost missed my daughter's basketball game. So we're back. I'm going back to the Whetstone really quick. Like I said, this groove works really great for sharpening your fish hooks. You know, it fits right in there. It's going to accommodate, you know, small ones up to, you know, a lot larger ones. But also, you know, you got your fishing kit with your hooks, you know, your fillet knife. So just, it's a very, very versatile tool that, you know, going back to, you know, the 0.5 level gear and, you know, being able to use single pieces of gear for multiple purposes. This is something that's going to complement or be compatible with, you know, most everything else you're carrying as far as tools go that need to be, you know, sharpened or edged. This is a little fishing kit that I keep in my backpack. Some hooks and sinkers and, you know, things like that. But, you know, again, that pairs very well with everything else. You know, this is something, if you're fishing, you're camping, whatever, it's going to work with multiple things. So you've got a single purchase that's going to complement a lot of other pieces of gear, which this cat's about to knock over the camera. But you know, that's one thing I look for is, you know, if I'm going to spend the money on something, how many times or how many uses or purposes can I get out of that single piece of gear? So this is definitely something that's going to be part of my daily, you know, carry, my kit that's constantly on me, because it's going to complement everything else so very well. Alright, let's move these out of the way. Keep the knife away from the cat. This is the Ranger bead kit. I'm sure you've seen Ranger beads before. And Finn, you're in the way. Watch out. Basically what Ranger beads are, in case you haven't seen them, they're a navigation tool. It's a pace counter. They get their name from the U.S. Army Rangers. You know, what you do with them, because they use them, or let's say they're most, I'm trying to think of the word, most commonly associated with this type of tool. I'll show you the parts of the kit here in a second. I want to point out something else with Wazoo. Now, this is one of their products. You know, they source all this stuff. They spend all this time, you know, getting the right kind of components putting the right kinds of gear together. And again, from USA sources. Oh cool, another sticker. But one thing I like about them, for their kits and for their, you know, their equipment, their tools, they're going to give you great instructions. You know, this goes through and shows a link to their video where you can pull that up and check out how to make this. You know, I'm not going to make it right now. You jump over, I'll link to their video so you don't see me fumbling around with the knots and everything. But it not only tells about, you know, shows the link to that, but it talks about the history of this thing, you know, what it's for, how you use it, how to find your pace count fin. Because what you want to do is, once you get this finished, it's going to help with you know, counting distance, because you're going to associate these beads in here with how many steps you're taking. So you're going to want to find 3 values basically. You know, how far or how many steps it takes you to go a certain distance, you know, walking on a flat surface or a flat ground, going uphill and going downhill, because all 3 of those values are going to be you know, different numbers. You're going to, you know, be able to take X amount of steps on flat ground versus a different X amount of steps going uphill. So you're going to need to you know, once you get this done, count off your paces and keep up with that. And they've included this little reference card that kind of gives you some tips on using the Ranger beads and on navigation, but also you can record your paces. So, you know, you don't have to measure it off every time, or if you're like me, you're going to forget in a month's time if you're not doing this every day. But you know, they've got spaces for you to write flat ground, uphill and downhill, and then what kind of conditions you're walking in, so you can get all these measurements. Have this in a card that you can put in your wallet or somewhere else safe, and always have it with you. And I won't go through all this, all the instructions right now, but it's very thorough. And come on. Very thorough on how to build it, how to use it, and all kind of other good information here. This kit, I got the basic kit, it's $9. You can spend a little bit more and get some kits with some other beads, like you know, decorative beads, a skull, a Spartan helmet, I think, and some other things. But this kit's $9, so you know, I like to make things, so anything like this that I can, you know, order from them, I know all the parts are there, all of it's good quality, you know, but I get to have a hand in making it and kind of personalize it a little bit, you know, make it my own. That's all the better. Plus, at $9, I mean, you can grab a handful of these and it'd be a great project to do with the kids. You know, if you've got kids, or let's say a scout group, you know, something like that, or if you've got, say, a bushcraft group you meet up with, or, you know, just some friends in the hobby, this would be a great activity to sit around and make together and discuss and you know, practice the use. But as far as the components, you've got a length of mil-spec paracord, which let's see, should have a length in here, 4 foot of paracord. That's, you know, very nice feeling stuff. The cat is trying to take it. You're going to have a carabiner so you can attach it to your equipment. Cat butt. Got their brand on it. And then you've got 13 of the beads that you're going to thread onto the paracord. And these beads, you know, a lot of the Ranger bead systems that you see are you know, plastic beads, and your plastic beads, you know, they work, but you know, they're more, I guess, subject to conditions, as far as if you drop them or you step on them or something like that, they of course can shatter or break, and then you've got to redo the whole thing, or you got some bad luck out in the field if you're actually using them. These are EPDM rubber, not grommets, I'm sorry, beads. EPDM rubber is a like an outdoor use rubber, used a lot in pool equipment, different applications as far as playground footing and things for traction. They use a lot in automotive parts as far as door and window seals, even parts of the engine that's going to have to resist temperature, near the thermostat, the heating and cooling hoses, things like that. They all have EPDM components. So these are special made for Wazoo out of EPDM rubber. So these are not going to change with weather conditions, temperatures. They're going to hold their shape and hold up over time. So again, I'm not going to build this right now, but I'll show it in a later video whenever I do put it together, because I'd like to maybe put some different knots and things on there, or maybe fit some more tools onto it. I know Wazoo carries some small fire steels that already have holes in them, so you can thread them onto paracord. So that would be a neat little thing to add, just to have another source of fire on another piece of kit. Right, the last two pieces of gear I want to talk about from this order. One of them is a small fire steel or ferrocerium rod. It's maybe 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, something like that. The reason I got this is to maybe work it into again, one of my smaller kits. You could duct tape it to something, put it in a small pouch, an Altoids tin, something like that. It's not going to take up a lot of room. And I know you've seen me talk about these before, but it's just a man-made steel, out of a few different components that allow you to spark it, strike it, and it throws sparks off into tinder or whatever for fire starting. Not a whole lot to say about a fire steel, but these are $1.50, something like that. So grab a few of them, put them in some kits, something nice to have on hand. This is the mini ceramic blade. It's a folding blade from Wazoo. It's already got your little ball chain or bead chain there, so you can attach it to a key ring, a necklace, whatever. It's gonna be made out of ceramic for the blade, plastic for the housing, and some brass. Don't take that. And the O-ring holding it all together, or holding the blade in, is again going to be that EPDM rubber. So all this is non-corrosive, or how do you put it, corrosion free, I guess. You're not going to have it rusting up and things like that if it does get exposed to water or weather. But just slip this little band off, and there's your blade or your razor. It comes very sharp. Ceramic holds up very well as far as keeping a sharp edge to it, as long as you're not out abusing it. Very sharp. And what a lot of people don't realize, or maybe haven't been exposed to, is ceramic works very, very well with fire steels as far as getting them to strike. I'm a big fan of using the spine of my knife and everything else, but these will create an absolute shower of sparks. I'll grab this little fire steel that I had out a second ago and show you. All of your fire steels will have a black coating around it, or on it, so it takes you a couple of strikes to remove some of that coating to get to the substance underneath that actually strikes. But the best way to do this, of course, you could have this open and strike it. You want to strike any fire steel with the spine of your knife, or the part opposite of the blade, so you're not dulling up your blade. You could do this open, but the safe way to do it would be to leave it closed, and you actually have the cutout there where some of the spine is exposed. where you can strike against that steel. And the best way to use one of these steels is to pull back on the steel. You're not pushing forward with your blade. And the reason being is just so if you've got a tender bundle or something like that, you're not, you know, knocking into it and sending it flying everywhere. You've just got a lot more control if you pull back on your fire steel. Everything's super wet down here right now, so I'm not too worried about sparking something, but we'll be careful just in case. But all you do, you know, and you can do this with a knife too, but I want to show you the properties, the striking properties of the ceramic. Let's get some of that coating off. See, that sparks very, very well. Okay, but the reason I got this is, again, something super compact, super portable, very, very, very sharp. So you could use this, you know, cutting cordage. You know, you're not going to use it to baton through wood or anything like that, or probably not a whole lot of heavy carving, but, you know, light, fine work, because you don't want to abuse this and snap it or anything like that. But a sharp blade that you know is sharp and you can take with you in that condition is going to come in handy for a lot of purposes. But I'd like to work that into again a necklace, or, you know, a Altoid tin kit, something like that. But all this small stuff, you know, again, going back to that everyday carry purpose, the smaller, the lighter, the more convenient to carry, and it still function as a real tool. You know, that's the mindset that I have, and the way I try to look at different tools. You know, of course you're gonna, if you're out camping or whatever, you're gonna have some bigger things with you, but as far as everyday practical carry, things like this really lend themselves, you know, to that practice. But kind of going back to Wazoo, I called Dustin on the phone. He's one of the head guys down there, and had a discussion with him about their products. And you know, these guys know what they're doing. They get out and practice with this stuff. They talk to their customers and to the people that use these things, and, you know, they take feedback and you know, criticisms and development ideas in making their products better. And it really shows. I mean, like I said, the Whetstone, that's the second version of that, and you can definitely see some upgrades that are useful to that. I want to say the ceramic blade, that's like version 3 of that. So they're constantly improving their products to make it better for us that are, you know, going to be putting them to use and going to be taking them out in the field and getting getting some practice with them. Definitely hit these guys up, check them out. There's a few more items I like to get from them. I know they've got some different survival bracelets. I think they've got a bushcraft necklace. It's got a ceramic striker and a fire steel built into it. You know, their bracelets, when you order those, you actually give them the measurements of your wrist so they can custom fit it for you. They've got a cache hat where, you know, C-A-C-H-E, cache, so you can store things inside of it, and it's got multiple pockets. You know, so something like this and this fire steel would fit into that hat. You know, I don't have one with me, but just say the hat I'm wearing now, you know, you could actually take something like that and hide it in the little hat band flap there. Of course, their hat's a lot more suited for these purposes, but that kind of gives you an idea of how portable this stuff is. But go check them out, WazooSurvivalGear.com. I'm going to get some more of their gear and go over it and feature it here. You know, get out here and practice with it and kind of give you some feedback on it. I mentioned the giveaway earlier. I'm going to try to get a hold of another one of these Viking Wet Stones. Do that as part of one of the giveaways. So check back. If you guys like what I'm doing here, you know, let me know. Maybe point me in the direction of some other gear that you'd like to know about. You know, get on Wazoo, check out some of their stuff, see if there's anything you want me to review on there. Instead of using this old stump all the time, maybe I'll build us a table down here where we've got a little bit more area and, you know, a little bit more display space. But thanks for watching. Come back soon, because we'll have some more gear from Wazoo, have some more from Grim Survival, and I got some stuff from a couple other companies up there that we'll check out. See you next time.